Hey everybody, I'm Katallina, and today we're talking about episode 5 of Mission Yozakura Family. When I saw Taiyo looking at a book about spy dating, I almost choked on my drink. There's such a cute and quirky vibe to the show, and the fact that this 16-year-old was reading a manual about how to make his relationship with Mutsumi work better was absolutely hilarious. I mean, it's totally normal for a teenager to be concerned about how their dating life is going, whether the other person is happy, whether they're happy, what does it mean to be in love, what does it mean to be with somebody. But I mean, of course, for Taiyo and Mutsumi, it's even a step further than that because in the technical sense of the show, they are actually married. Plus, I mean, Taiyo has the whole spy thing going on that he's working with. And Mutsumi has been dealing with this situation the entire time she's been alive, so that's something to consider too. As crazy as it may seem to think about the dating lives or even the married life of teenagers though, the theme overall ties into the episode beautifully, and it makes perfect sense in the context that it is actually used in during this particular story. The overall theme of this episode is essentially a question of loyalty, and it's an episode where Taiyo's loyalty to the Yozakura family and his capability of actually keeping their secrets and being trusted by them is carefully examined and tested. We see this at the beginning of the episode where this police officer shows up while Taiyo is in his scouting gear, for lack of a better term, and he is like, yo, you're coming with me. And Taiyo is on the phone with Mutsumi and immediately hangs up because he doesn't want her in any way connected to the situation. Taiyo essentially gets taken downtown to the police station or whatever, and he gets questioned. And the police officer has some things on him that he knows are actually real and true, but the police officer also has some things on Taiyo that Taiyo knows he never did. So he's wondering what the hell is going on. Before he can really think about it too much or consider it, all of a sudden this guy is like trying to slam a hammer into his skull. But regardless of what is actually going on or how intense the situation gets, Taiyo never cracks. Taiyo absolutely refuses to say anything that could potentially implicate the other people that he is around, which is incredibly important, and it shows that, as I've said before, Taiyo's greatest strength is actually his internal and unwavering connection and loyalty to the people he cares about. Of course, we find out very swiftly in a situation where this wall shatters that this is something that's been set up by Kyoichiro, and it is something where Kyoichiro is trying to see whether this police officer thinks that Taiyo is actually ready to start working more seriously with everybody. And we find out that this police officer is actually someone who works with the Yozakura family, essentially as like backup and cleanup and keeping their stuff under wraps. And the police officer actually agrees that Taiyo is cool under pressure, Taiyo keeps his lips closed, and Taiyo shows extreme loyalty, and yeah, he thinks he's ready to rock and roll. Unfortunately for Taiyo, the only place he's going to be rocking and rolling to is to school, after seemingly being out all night, and he's tired. Understandably tired. And he starts conking off at his desk. But it turns out they have a supply teacher in class that day, and it's none other than Kyoichiro, who then proceeds to put some kind of sleeping gas into the air. Mutsumi immediately puts a gas mask on. All the students that are not Mutsumi and Taiyo are conking out, and Taiyo, while he does fall partially asleep, actually exhibits this in-sleep ability to still react and maneuver that Kyoichiro indicates that he started being able to do when he was 15. It's hilarious because this ends up being a one-time thing for Taiyo, but he does actually succeed at it, and it's pretty generally cool. My favorite part of the episode, though, was actually the second half, where they go to the amusement park. I just thought the overall amusement park situation was very cute, and it's where the majority of this relationship situation goes down, and where we see Taiyo trying to find a way to connect with Mutsumi because he is so worried that something could happen and that it might make them not work out, because obviously he really cares about her. And it's funny because he goes on the mission on his own, and then she shows up and he's like, how'd you get here? And she explains to him that the police officer actually told him. Which, of course, by the end of the episode breaks into something hilarious, where Kyoichiro finds out that Taiyo and Mutsumi ended up going on this mission to the amusement park, and he's just devastated. Like, why wasn't that me? Yeah, because you're not the person who needs to be there. Pervy big brother. Yikes. Please, get a girlfriend. But, back to the situation at the amusement park. The mission that Taiyo had been given is to find these people who potentially have dangerous weapons inside the park, and they are a couple. So he and Mutsumi go around examining different couples, and what I really liked about the way that this situation turned out is that they kept looking at all these couples who were potentially suspicious or sketchy or abnormal or quirky, and they all thought that those were going to be the ones that ended up having the problem. What we end up finding out, though, is that the couple who actually have the weapons and who ending up having a dispute against each other are this obnoxiously, seemingly perfect couple that nobody suspects until they just absolutely snap. And I thought that that was really brilliant writing and really brilliant theming, because when we think about relationships and connection and time with people and all that sort of thing, we often do think about the idea that we want everything to be perfect. We want everything to be smooth. We don't want any conflict. We don't want any disagreement. We never want anyone to be upset. But that's unrealistic. And if you constantly are trying to reach that kind of goal with what you're doing, you are inevitably going to burn the hell out. You're potentially going to resent your partner. You're not going to know how to deal with actual conflicts when things come up between you and them, because you don't allow yourself to actually be involved in situations that are minor disagreements so that you can build that muscle and that fortitude. And what I really loved about this episode by the end, the reason I highlighted this aspect of the episode, the reason that when I did my picture for my video, I chose the picture of Taiyo giving Mutsumi the flowers, is that during his confrontation with these two people who are having this shootout inside of a shop at an amusement park, the flowers he gets for Mutsumi get damaged, and by the end of the episode he wasn't able to get her any different type of a gift, and he ends up needing to hand her these flowers that are not perfect. And I thought that was just brilliant, because they shouldn't be expecting their relationship to be perfect. And they should accept the fact that when they do something for each other, it isn't the perfection of the thing, but the intent of each of them toward the other that's going to matter. And I loved how they showed that through the actual action and the actual pacing of the episode. I also liked the fact that they chose a Ferris wheel at sunset, because a Ferris wheel is something that is in a fixed space and time. You have a very set amount of time you're on the Ferris wheel. You have to be very present. You have to be very in the moment. And you also get to get up and away from everything. So the likelihood of these two actually being distracted for this brief moment in time was so much smaller. And the distractions, of course, of being a spy, of being the head of a family, of any of that stuff, are one of the things that are going to be the most challenging for these two characters. So the symbolism of the Ferris wheel in controlling time and space, and then the sunset representing the concept of a happy ending, was really cute and really fit the mood and tone of what they were going for. Anyway, overall, I thought that this was a fantastic episode. I'd love to know what you guys thought of this episode, so feel free to drop a comment below, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!